Hello everyone, I'm Eszter Vajda. Thanks for joining us and welcome to Hometown Talents and Treasures. Our goal is to introduce you to citizens who in their own unique way contribute to the betterment of society. They could be part of a charitable or faith-based organization, spend a lifetime giving of themselves, or do small acts of kindness. Regardless, they are all hometown heroes. And I'm so pleased to have our first guests here, Dave Edwards and Dana Bennett from Communities Together. Welcome.
Thank you.
Communities Together has been in the Merrimack Valley in Lawrence for 65 years. What's your mission? What's the goal of Communities Together?
We were founded originally as the Greater Lawrence Council of Churches, a very typical organization. There are 6 regional councils across the state of Massachusetts. And we renamed ourselves in 2007, probably to make ourselves to bring us more in step with what we see in society today. We are a faith-based organization. We are a Christian organization. Our mission statement emphasizes that we seek to unite the people in the love of Christ and try to do His good works in the community.
You guys are involved in a number of projects, and of course one of them is the diaper collection. I've got a box of diapers here ready to give to you. You collect diapers. Talk about that program.
You know, I tell people that my legacy is diapers and small children's underwear. Some 10 or 11 years ago, I came across one of the Latino pastors, and he talked about the children lined up to get clothing from his church, and he noticed they were standing in the snow in sandals. So we asked if we couldn't maybe have a collection for socks, and that's the way it started with us. And we collected, I don't know how many thousands of socks and distributed them to different churches in the area. And one day I got a call and it said, it'd be much more appropriate if you collected diapers and small children's underwear.
An even greater need for those things.
Much greater need. And it was interesting where that need showed up. I think the call, I'm testing my memory now, but the call came from a kindergarten teacher in one of the public schools who needed diapers in the event one of the children had a little accident. And the parents were not in a position to, they didn't have enough diapers to go around most of the time, let alone send the child to school with them. But we also found there are a lot of children, 1st and 2nd grade, that went to school with no underwear. Mm-hmm. So we reached out to what we call our supporting congregations, some 40 churches in the Greater Lawrence area. And the thought was not to do it at Christmas time, because there's so many demands placed on churches at that time of the year. So we decided to use the season of Lent time we should be making sacrifices, and ask people that, next time you're in a Walmart or CVS, pick up a package of diapers or small children's underwear and put them in a bin in the vestibule of your church. Well, I guess when we figured that over 10 years, we collected over 200,000 items.
Yeah, wow. Well, this is actually going to be our 15th year.
15th year.
And so we're thinking that's probably reached about 200,000 individual items, which is how we count them, because that's how we split them up between 8 to 12. It's been 10 agencies for the last few years. Yeah. And they give them out maybe 4 diapers at a time to people who need them. So they're given out individually. So that's how we count them.
Dana, you're involved with birthday parties for kids. Talk about the birthday parties that you have for children who otherwise wouldn't have parties.
Right. One of our programs is an after-school and summer program at the Hancock Courts Housing Project in Lawrence. And we, over time, have developed that program so that it includes things like story time and snack and crafts and the occasional field trip. And then at some point, actually we're celebrating the closing of the 4th year of that program that in which we started giving birthday parties to the kids. Once a month we have a party for all the kids born in that month, and we get sponsors, usually our supporting congregations, to bring a birthday in a box. So a cake, decorations, cards for the kids, various other treats.
And this started because a child actually went and bought himself a birthday cake.
Right, right. One of the kids in our program We realized that he had never had a birthday party. He never had a birthday cake, I think, and he went and earned some tips at a local grocery store parking lot so that he could buy his own cake and bring it back to the program and share it with the kids there.
It's a wonderful story, and it goes to the heart of people not, of people have so little in life. And in my family, for example, we've talked, I can't imagine not having a recognition of a birthday. And it just, you just accept it that way. And to suddenly find that here's a whole population of small children that have never seen a birthday cake or never seen a birthday cake that was in honor of their birthday. And the outpouring from our churches was amazing.
Yeah.
And the first year, what you had?
Yeah, we had sponsors lined up years in advance.
And you work with 40 churches?
We have about 40 churches that we have some kind of an interface with. And
yeah, they don't all do, they do what they can. So they have volunteers that help us in any ways that they can. Some, contribute financially. Some do the birthday party. It depends on what, how the mission of our organization interfaces with what resources they have and what they're interested in doing. But in one way or another, we have worked with about 40 congregations.
How have you seen the face of poverty change?
We share office space. We share office space with Neighbors in Need, which runs 7 or more food pantries in the city of Lawrence. And people come in that office also. They pick up used clothing and items like that, baby formula. So I see the traffic that they see. And I think a couple of things that have happened. One is the demand has just skyrocketed. And if you talk to any of the agencies like Neighbors in Need or Lazarus House, Bread and Roses, Corunum, they're seeing more and more clients, just more and more. And one of the things I think I mentioned earlier is that another change is, the populations that we saw were largely immigrant, Latino particularly. Now we're seeing Caucasians, we're seeing a broad spectrum of the population that are in need.
And with governments cutting their programs, I'm sure people are more likely to turn to some of these charitable.
They have to, yeah. And it goes, just for example, and go back to the diapers. If you think of a family that's on public welfare and how small that income is, and they have 2 children in diapers, the diapers become the biggest part of their weekly expense. It costs them more to keep their kids in diapers than it does to eat. So the diapers are, I guess, if I look back, it's probably one of the things I'm most proud of the organization having done, because it serves so many people.
Why is it particularly important now, in light of this economic downturn, to go out there and volunteer? What's the call to action?
Well, I think our mission statement, because we're Christian. We're a very Christian organization. We're not interfaith. We don't apologize for being Christians. And this is what Christ tells us to do. It tells us to reach out to those that are in need. And that's what drives our programs. We have 4 programs now that we actively support. And one of the things we're very careful of is that we try not to duplicate services that are already being provided. The diapers, for example, we collect them in our congregations, but we don't give them directly to the people. We give them to the agencies that really understand where that need is. But no way would we attempt to set up a stall someplace in Lawrence and say, come get diapers, because other people are doing that for us. And so we look at opportunities that we have, and that's our 4 programs are pretty much programs that no other congregation could do by itself.
Yeah, our mission statement calls us to act together, to respond together to the needs of the people of Greater Lawrence and surrounding communities. And I think anybody who's ever done a mission project with a church or volunteered with an organization will tell you that they set out to do it so they can help others, But in the process, they're changed. You know, it affects the volunteer as well. So I think there's a certain amount of satisfaction and fulfillment that comes with that. And I would urge, you know, anybody who's even considering, you know, looking for volunteer opportunities to, you know, head to a nonprofit agency.
Dave, you told me you don't have to go to Nicaragua or Africa for a mission.
This is I encounter this. I'll go and visit some of the churches, some of the pastors, or some of the people that we interface with, and I'll ask them to get more involved in a certain area, and or I'll ask them what their missions, where's their mission outreach, and they'll say, well, it's in Guatemala, or it's in Honduras, or it's in Haiti, and I try to point out to them the mission opportunities that are right on our doorsteps. I go to church in North Andover, and the mission opportunities I point out are, you know, just across the river or down the street from us. And there's such great need in the city, just terrible need. And we just, sometimes we have a hard time understanding it, that it's so close to us, you know. But it is, the mission opportunities right on our doorstep.
Dana, going back to what you said about self-fulfillment, volunteerism really is an opportunity to learn perhaps a new skill. But also, I recently did an article on volunteering and found that the Corporation for National and Community Services found in 2010, 62 million adults volunteered 8.1 billion hours in those of needs. And this is valued at $173 billion. And Massachusetts happens to be among the top 10 states for volunteers. And you were saying, Dave, that Lawrence has one of the highest concentrations.
Something like 200, over 200 nonprofit agencies in the city, what I call a 501c3. They're, you know, declared nonprofit by the IRS. And I talked to some people at the Chamber of Commerce one day, and it turns out that the nonprofits now represent a significant part of the employment base in the city. And an awful lot of work is done by volunteers, but most of the agencies have paid staff. Like myself, I'm a paid staff, and Dana is. And but what we represent when we put them all together is all of a sudden we have a significant impact on the economics of the city, because there are that many of us. And you know, we have to all doing some kind of good, all doing some kind of good.
And if anyone wants to get involved,
just call us. Because if we can't use their skills,
right, we
know who can. And so.
Thank you both for all you do. And thanks for being part of the show.
It was our pleasure to be here. Thank you.
That's our show for tonight. Thank you to all the heroes out there for all that you do. And if there's someone or an organization you would like to nominate to be featured on Hometown Talents and Treasures, email me at esternvajda@gmail.com. That's ESZTERNVAJDA@gmail.com. Remember, it can be anyone. The important thing is that they selflessly donate their talent and time to help others. Thanks for watching. See you next time.